And that means we are live here on our YouTube channel, Tackle Trading's Halftime Report, daily show where we break down the stock market, gold, commodities, anything in our mind, oil, the dollar, financial news across individual companies, look at the charts, and try to have some fun and give you guys some insight while we're doing it. Welcome out, everybody. If you're a veteran of our community, hashtag Team Tackle in the chat as you come on in. Click the bell, click the subscribe if you're brand new to our show. And if you enjoy our content, we always love those thumbs up. It helps us get the word out here for tackletrading.com. And welcome out to all the new members, by the way. We appreciate everybody who's subscribed to our channel over the last few weeks as well. Guys, we're eyeing 10,000, by the way, Maddie. You know, we're on our way towards that. That's going to be a pretty awesome day when we hit that mark. Anything special you think we should do? Maybe throw a party, something like that?
Well, there was talk of doing a special 8 hours on YouTube where every one of the coaches come on, just teach an hour. You and I go a marathon, and we're still thinking about that. I'm still in the back of my head. I'm still thinking about giving every one of the coach a little bit of 8 hours of content, education, just having a lot of fun. We'll do something special for the team. I do like the concept of a marathon YouTube, during the entire day where the coaches come in and just analyze the market, talk about trading strategies, hedging techniques, trade management techniques, technical analysis. Johnny, I love live trading. We do have some compliance concerns with that. We do have lawyers that tell us certain things we can and cannot do. And yes, Matt's camera is back up and running. Yeah, I think we're going to do something special on those lines. So we'll have more to say as we get closer to that 10K. But we're pretty happy about that 10K. We're not a celebrity TikTok user that's 14 years old and has 14 million users. We're just a bunch of old farts analyzing the market and love our community. So we'll do something special, but we're excited about it.
Dude, whatever it's going to be a very big event for us and kind of a milestone we've been eyeing for quite some time. I'm excited for it and looking forward to whatever it is we end up cooking up and getting out there to the team. By the way, you mentioned TikTok. One thing we will talk about today on today's show is actually TikTok is in the news here today. Pompeo mentioned that he might be up to kind of blocking TikTok in America. My poor girls who are getting tons of likes on their little dog videos, Matt, maybe they're just getting their hopes up for nothing here. Maybe TikTok is going away. I'm not sure. Did you see that news, by the way, Pompeo mentioning that?
My daughter might be very upset if TikTok goes away, and I might be very excited if TikTok goes away as my daughter's father. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with TikTok. What's his name? Dave Portnoy came out on Twitter yesterday and says, I like BABA because I'm pretty sure TikTok, China is stealing every American's user data and giving it to BABA. And that's why I'm long BABA. And I was just like, it's pretty good analysis. It's probably true. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to what happens on TikTok. When we were doing the prediction podcast, we did a recap of the podcast yesterday. We all of us thought TikTok was going to be the #1 download this year. Most likely is. I've still never even used it outside of just monitoring my daughter's ridiculous dog videos she puts on TikTok. How does a dog video that an 11-year-old records has more views than like some really good content? I don't get it. People love puppies. People love dogs.
People don't like watching things longer than 30 seconds. TikTok, it
makes
hits
them happy.
The lazy not watch more than the beginning of videos that people want.
Listen, all I know is that Tackle Trading, we just need to have more cat and dog videos.
Do not mess with cats. There was that documentary that came out on Netflix a couple years ago with a title that was similar to that. You might know what I'm talking about out there if you saw it. But the internet loves cats and dogs. There's no question about it. Maybe we do need an official mascot, Matt. Like a lot of these college sports teams have. We'll get like.
Are you really going to Marty?
No. Okay. All right. Marty can be the mascot.
Marty is the mascot. Listen, Tim, you wanted so bad.
What about a bulldog?
For our community to hate Marty. You wanted it so bad that Marty would go away forever. The community spoke. Marty is the mascot. It is. The community spoke. Tackle Trading wants something, they get something. That's how it works. Marty's the mascot.
I get it. I get it. And I'm not even going to fight it anymore. I was clearly in the minority. I'm talking about a very, 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 very minority here.
Look at
Might be the
Brian.
only
I love
one.
Marty. Look at Dina. Marty rocks. Look at Heather. Marty would be a great mascot. Jim, you're fighting the trend of Apple and Zoom and the growth stock area of this market. You're fighting it. Don't fight it. Just go with it. Just go with
Dude,
it.
I don't want to embrace haterism here, but if there is somebody out there who's on my side, I'll defend you against Matt. You don't need to suck up to Marty.
Listen,
All right,
they
I'm
know
gonna
how
throw this
that
out
would
there.
end.
When we start releasing like shirts and things for tackle trading, there will be a Marty shirt.
Of course.
There will be a Marty shirt.
Look at this. Coach M, Marty stays, Tim goes. Marty's the man. Marty's like voting against Marty. Marty's like betting against the Fed. You've lost, bro. Sorry.
Fair
Chalk
enough.
it up. It's an L in your column.
Yeah, it feels that way. There's no doubt about it. And I will embrace that and say, good day, sir. Great job on Marty. And I did love that webinar. If somebody didn't catch that replay, by the way, it's still in the hero position on our Tackle Trading YouTube page. Go back and watch it from last Wednesday night. It was a lot of fun. Let's break down the markets here. We got Mark, we got Matt, we got myself, we got Cody producing on the back end. And, not a lot of news here today, kind of a light news day in that regard. There's some individual interesting company news, but Matt, Doji up here after a breakout, not much in that chart from my perspective from yesterday, but a little hesitation candle. What are you seeing in the chart?
Same thing. Just it's a very light news day. Not a lot of news to really kind of drive, especially not a lot of major news to drive the market. There's a lot of just small news items out there on individual companies, but not Ahmed. Yeah, a red candle. What do we do? What do we do? It's a red candle. Let's all freak out. A little bit of hesitation. Market broke out yesterday on a really, really, really good day. We're up 5 days in a row. The NASDAQ's up 5.76% in the last 5 days. The S&P's up 4.75% in the last 5 days. My God, Tesla's up, 148,000% today or yesterday or overnight or on any 1 minute chart. The market's just a little hesitation today. And, the news stories that you read, it's fascinating when you really analyze this market on a daily basis and look at the news stories. You have all these little minor news stories. Oh, market's down on, Melbourne shutting down for 6 weeks. So market's down on, hospitalizations in Texas and Florida, getting overextending themselves. So market's down on COVID this. And those were the exact same news headlines when the market was going up 5.7% in the last 5 days on green candles. So to me, I think the lack of information today just gave the market a little bit of a pause, right? A little bit of a pause. But even on as the market was trying to open up this morning, you saw that overnight action here last night driving the market down. What drove the market down on the overnight action was there was a report coming out of the European Commission that basically GDP for 2020 was not going to be as good as what they originally hoped. They thought it was going to be somewhere down, somewhere about
7% contraction, I think, something like that.
7.7% contraction. They now project that to be over 8%. I think that's even probably a little bit of a hope. They're probably not even going to come in at that. So on the overnight action, you had a little bit of a sell-off coming into the market here earlier today. Ever since the cash opened, though, I mean, we have been green here, but for the most part, a little bit of hesitation here today. I'm not reading much, if anything, into this. It's still holding the breakout channel, even on the intraday here today. As you were testing those overnight lows here, where did it come into? It came into right there, right 3140, right there in that breakout channel between 3130 and 3150. Found support, started showing a little bit of price appreciation off that support bounce. So it held its support channel in the face of that European news, and it didn't really sell aggressively on any of the minor negative news. And it was, any news that came out today was minor. There was nothing major that came out today that we didn't otherwise already know. So I'm really seeing this just as a little bit of a hesitation after the market just has, been really, really good in the last 5 days, especially in a lot of those momentum plays, the Zooms of the world, the Teslas of the world. You've had a lot of price appreciation in some of those short-term trends with the momentum. And so I think we're just seeing a little bit of hesitation more than anything today.
You know, and you are still seeing that split in terms of the internals of the market, Matt. I mean, communications and tech actually looking better than the rest here today. Industrials, financials looking worse than the rest today. And we
Yeah.
do get that sector divergence. Mark, you had mentioned that early in our preparation here. You're talking about how that just continues. Do you think that theme is here to stay for some time, Marky? Is that how you're approaching markets with strength and weakness?
Pull up Planet Fitness, PLNT. You know, because so many of the bullish picks we have at Tackle Trading are in momentum stocks, which rightfully so, right? That's what we do. It is really, the market strength lately has really been masking the weakness of a lot of different sectors and areas of the economy. You know, Planet Fitness, I believe it was on our bearish stock report. I brought it up a few weeks in programming I've done. There's just been real weakness. And like last week when we had this really huge market rally, right? I mean, by any metric, it was a massive week. A lot of stocks did not participate. And so the first time you see markets even off a little bit, where there's not that bullish momentum on the broad market, a lot of stocks are taking it on the chin today. And it's like the bullishness of last week was holding up some of the weaker areas where people really just aren't interested at all. I mean, as long as COVID-19 is spreading throughout society, there is going, and as a result, the reopening is being pulled back. Your distressed industries, your airlines, your casinos, your gyms like Planet Fitness, they've been really weak in the last couple weeks. You have a big market down day at any point in the future where the actual broad market sells off, where Microsoft isn't up, where it's actually down, you can see a further hit to companies in this area. So the momentum's still strong. Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, Shopify, Chipotle. I mean, all the stocks that people have been chasing, those trends are really solid, but there's a lot of weakness underneath the market in a lot of areas.
Well, and that's something I do want to talk about, Mark, because when you have these types of movements, to me, this market's getting back to being some degree of a stock picker's market. It has been for the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. But you're really starting to see a separation between the strength and the weakness of the entire marketplace. And when you have a market that rips for 5 consecutive days, in an environment where you're starting to see that separation, what will happen is the market performance will bring up a lot of the ships, right? It'll raise all the boats. But a lot of those boats are in bearish downtrends that are now coming into resistance. When you look at the weakness over the last month, you're looking at energy, you're looking at finance, you're looking at industrials, you're looking at utilities, you're looking at consumer defensive, you're looking at real estate, you're looking at all those, economy reopening up plays to a certain extent. And as the economy reopening a theme has lost its muster to a certain extent, you've started to see true strength coming back into the growth areas of the market. Whereas a lot of these sectors like energy forming a low base, threatening to break down, a sector like finance forming a bearish retracement, triggering to the downside here today. Utilities formed a bearish retracement, saw a downward movement in price yesterday with confirmation, continuing that here today. Industrials, bearish retracement, triggering to the downside. Whereas the strength of the market, the NASDAQ breaks out. Communications is currently threatening a breakout. You have consumer discretionary here, threatening a breakout of the all-time highs as well. So, this goes back to those two overriding themes that we really have been debating, within tackle trading internally as traders, but as market participants from a broad-based perspective for the last 6, 7 weeks, is that economy reopening up theme really started playing itself out, in competition directly with that, with the stay-at-home stocks, the pandemic plays, the growth areas of the market, the tech plays. You're really starting to see true separation from a strength versus weakness in this market again. And the strength right now, and I said this last week, I said it the week before, and I say it today, you want to buy into strength right now. You want to trade the momentum until that momentum stops. And right now, today, yesterday, last week. We haven't seen that momentum stop yet. The momentum is real in those growth areas of the market. It doesn't make a lot of economic sense. It doesn't make a lot of value sense. It doesn't make a lot of behavioral sense. It doesn't make a lot of fundamental sense. But momentum doesn't make sense in the moment. It's momentum. You got to trade into that momentum, and you got to shy away from the distressed areas of the market right now until we start to see better data. Right now, the data is not supporting the economy reopening up thing. It just isn't. And the virus, whether or not you believe in it being a ultimate risk or not, to me, the virus is going to be the one that dictates whether the economy reopens up around the world. And as of right now, we're in a kind of a holding pattern in that. So is there going to be a play in those distressed areas? Absolutely, at some point, but not right now. Not right now, not in my opinion. It's still trading into strength, shying away from the weakness area of the market, the bottom pickers. They will have their day, and that day might be next week. It might be. We got to see it in the data though. Right now, I mean, when you look at kind of the performance of the entire marketplace, look at what's happening over the last day. Where's the relative strength? Technology, healthcare, communication services. Where's the relative strength over the last week? Communication services, technology, basic material, healthcare. Where's the strength over the last month? Technology, consumer cyclical, consumer services. Where's the last 3 months? You can't go against this data, and especially in the last month, as that economy reopening up theme really started to have a little bit of cold water. Where's the weakness? The weakness is in the economy reopening up. Energy today down 1%, real estate down 1.25%, finance down 1.2%, utilities, industrials, consumer cyclicals all weaker against the broad market. In the last week, the same thing's playing out. In the last month, the same thing's playing out. This has been happening over the last 3-4 weeks, and we were very quick to catch that economy reopening up theme. If you guys will recall that Monday morning when I was like, guys, I'm seeing something in the data here about the economy reopening up. We're starting to see a little bit of performance coming into that. The same way, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I was like, we're starting to see data start to rotate from that economy reopening up thing back into the stay-at-home pandemic thing. We've seen these play out, and they will rotate again. It will happen again. It's just not right now.
Yeah. Even on that weight on the distressed industries, Matt, I actually think they might be set up for some bearish plays, if people have this
in the short
capacity.
term.
Yeah.
I agree.
Some of them definitely are. I mean, Mark talked about Planet Fitness. I mean, Valero from the options report over the weekend as well. I mean, some of those energy stocks, I'm seeing some good patterns on that bear side that can trigger if they've not already triggered, and giving you some opportunity to play that stock pickers kind of mindset.
What's interesting in looking at this bear list, because what you're looking at here, guys, is the list that we have on our bear plays. And what do you see on that list? You see a lot of stay at home. You see, and not stay at home. You see a lot of economy reopening up themes like American Airlines triggering to the downside. BYD triggering to the downside. The financial CME triggering on the bearish retracement to the downside. Even in a hot market like this, when you start to see separation, you have some really, really good picks on both sides of the aisle. I personally, I love these bearish trades coming into this week. And unlike in last week's where a lot of them didn't trigger, a lot of these are setting up for potential triggers to the downside. I think the mentality is very simple right now, guys. You're buying into strength. When they get overextended, you wait for it. You wait for the drop, and then you continue to trade it. Right now, I'm seeing some real good weakness in those areas of the market that are really tied to the economy reopening up theme, though.
Yeah. Markets are mixed here today. NASDAQ actually about on an exact doji here. We've been talking about strength and weakness across different sectors. Let's take a peek actually through the commodities here, Matt, as we break down the markets one at a time. Crude oil next, if we can here, just kind of hesitating up here. Same conversation we've been having for about 6 days. It's really impressive in one regard. Doji holding those MAs, holding that resistance. Matt, what are you seeing in that chart?
Same thing. I mean, there has not been a substantial change in this pattern or this trend in the last week. It's really holding that support line, and holding that support line is very important because you're still looking at that from a bullish breakout perspective. If it ever breaks that trend line, which is, you can see that trend line connecting the dots, really looking at that as a cup and handle ascending triangle type of technical formation. If it breaks that trend line, you got to look at some degree of neutrality because it is kissing off those moving averages. Let me erase my trend line very quickly and just kind of highlight this. Look at the last 5 trading days, Mark. 4 out of the last 5 trading days, it tried to dip, but it kissed off the 9 EMA. What is that? I know you've done a lot of back testing on moving averages, especially your girlfriend, the 9 EMA. What does that? What type of analysis does that lead you to with the 9 EMA being so consistent on the last 4 or 5 trading days?
It is looking for a catalyst, right? It doesn't have a reason to go up. It's looking for one. For example, if you were to, like right now, the COVID data is not encouraging. It's not like, oh my gosh, worrisome either. As long as deaths stay low, a lot of nothing to see here. But hospitalizations in Texas are up. A lot of reports on hospitalizations in Florida. Everybody knows the case numbers unless you live in a hole. But, deaths have been down. And they've been down from 7-day averages right now. So there's no fear caused by COVID, but there's trepidation. There's hesitation. If you were to start reversing those trends and have that reopening theme go, if you were to have an OPEC plus, hey, we're going to extend the cuts, it's looking for a cast because it so badly wants to go up. It just doesn't have a reason to right now. That's what the quick bounces off the 9. There's no fear there. It just is looking for a reason, looking for a catalyst. It's like
it wants to buy, right? It wants to buy because
so wants to buy. It's like, it's like when somebody comes out with a price hike, when JP Securities came out on a price hike on Tesla, everyone was looking for a reason to buy. That was the catalyst that gave them one. Oil doesn't have.
Does it also give you a little bit of a belief that there is no bearish conviction here?
Dude, bears are scared everywhere.
Bears aren't. Yeah, there's no.
I mean, go look at natural gas since we're on commodities, anyways. All the bears. Hey, we broke support. Bears get smashed everywhere on everything they do. And so bears are terrified no matter where they are. And so
was it the weather on natural gas?
It's hot.
It was really, really hot.
Really hot. It
was really hot.
It was really hot.
I'm not even joking. That's the headlines. It was hot. Natural gas is up.
Buffett hot.
So I mean,
I'm
bears
gonna go
are scared.
I'm gonna go with hot. It was hot.
I mean, nobody wants to short anything. Nobody wants to go short anywhere right now because they're scared because they get their face slapped in. So
well, the shorts on Valero that triggered today aren't too scared.
No, there's individual companies. I'm looking at shorting market and playing puts and doing some.
The bears are I agree with you. The bears are very scared, broad based. There's no doubt about that. They are very scared. It's like they're a militia going up against the U.S. military with nuclear weapons right now. I.e. the Fed. They're very scared, no doubt about that.
I mean, those charts in those
there are still guerrilla attacks here, and so there are still stocks that are setting up. But I do agree. Broad-based bears are really nervous right now, but individual stocks, there's still good fights out there.
And some of these patterns of these distressors are so good, because I'm not a short seller, right? I'm a long only kind of guy, but the patterns are really good when I look at a Planet Fitness or a Valero and I'm like, I can't sell a naked put on that. I don't shoot, there's nothing but clear air down there. And so when I see a chart of a company, because I wouldn't mind owning Valero at a certain price, but when I see the chart, I'm like, ugh, that thing's ugly.
Yeah. It's funny how the different ways our minds work, Mark. You look at that chart and say, well, if it goes low enough, I'd be willing to buy it. I look at that chart and I'm like, there's some money to be made on the downside. I guess trading, investing in style, you're right.
I'm thinking, I can't wait for the next $3.28 to go to $50. I like Valero. I like it as a company, but you guys know my opinion overall in the energy space long term.
Yeah. I do want to talk about gold here. I mean, we've been talking about this 1800 level for quite some time. Simple question. Is this the breakout here, Matt? We're up at 1808 now. We're pressing above the intraday level. There's not a lot of volume here. It's not a huge day, but a little bit of a 0.5% day, but what are you seeing there?
The significance of the 1800 breakout, before I officially call it a breakout, I think we can wait for a day to confirm that breakout.
Mhm.
That's how significant that breakout could be. Where is the zone, wherever that zone is? I mean, the top level of it right now, you're really talking about 1810. So anything I think that closes above 1800 today, you got to call it confirmation.
Yeah, I think you've got to close and you got to have some carry through here because this is a multi-year breakout. It's not just a trading signal. This isn't just intraday
No.
traders or day traders or anything like that. This type of breakout off of multi-years. And we did break this down on the podcast yesterday. By the way, a new episode of the podcast is out. If you've not listened to it yet, make sure you catch it at tradingjustice.com. But we talked about gold quite a bit and this level here and the significance.
I just want to point out one quick thing, Tim. This was when tackle trading right here in October of 18 went bullish on gold.
Yeah.
And we have not had anything besides a very bullish rating on gold since this moment. Right there. It was October of 18. I wrote the commodity report. I said the reason to buy gold, and look what gold's been doing. I am not coming off my gold prediction. Not in the face of what's been going on this year, not in the face of what was going on last year, not in the face of anything that goes on in the future. I love gold. I think it's the easiest projection in the entire marketplace. How many times have I said everybody should own gold? How many times? It's like a broken record. Everybody should own gold. Everybody should own gold until you can't buy it. So in my opinion, the breakout of 1800 is one of the most significant price thresholds gold has. One of the most significant price thresholds gold has. I think it's okay to wait for a day for confirmation, but I love this technical setup. The breakout of 1760, legit. The breakout at 1800, legit. The breakout of 1700 was legit. Breakouts have been absolutely the way to go on gold. It's breaking out. This is a rebuy situation. This is an add to situation. This is an opportunity, in my opinion. I love it. I love gold here, and you should never look at gold in the short-term analysis. You should never swing trade gold. I understand day trading gold futures because of margin, and you can get some really good trends. But outside of that, it's a position trade. It's an investment vehicle. And when you're breaking out of 1800 after months of consolidation, you can add 2 positions to an investment. You can initiate an investment. You can initiate a position trade. I think gold's priced to fly here.
Dan says in the chat, true story. That's when I hit buy back in 2018. Good job for you, Dan, for taking action. Information is one thing. You as the trader have to pull the trigger at some point. So great job on that.
A very lengthy argument in the commodity report that day about why gold should be owned in portfolio and right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And definitely, I mean, even if you did miss an old opportunity, sometimes you get into the faulty thinking, well, I can't go back to 2018 and buy it. Well, no, you have to assess it right now. You have to assess what's in front of you right now. That's trading and investing.
Would-haves, could-haves, and should-haves. We all wish we could have shorted Tilray at 300. We all wish we could have bought gold at 1350. That's not how trading and investing works.
And buy Tesla at 200 for sure.
I wish to God I never would have sold Tesla at 40. I wish. I wish I would never sold my Bitcoin at 2,500. I wish. We all have them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what? That doesn't mean you're not. That doesn't mean you can't go out there and make money today or tomorrow or a month from now or a year from now. Financial markets are amazing. Look at the data over the last 100 years. I guarantee there's millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of people saying, I wish I could have done this at this point, at this date. And they always look back at that moment saying, oh, I wish I could have went back here, right here and bought gold. Yeah, that's fantastic. You never would have done that. There was no technical setup. Gold was getting absolutely beat up at that point because of margin calls. You wouldn't have done it. You got to learn how to make decisions right now. You got to learn how to analyze in the real time right now. And right now is not October of 2018. Right now, gold is breaking out at $1,800. The only question is, what are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Matt, also, like you mentioned Tesla, wish I would have owned it back at 300. And some people say that's also why you shouldn't necessarily look at price as the sole reason to buy or not buy something. Like, oh, it's just too high right now. How many people would look back at Tesla and say, oh, I wish I could buy it at 900?
Listen,
they were afraid to buy it at 900 because they wanted it at 300.
They've been saying that. They've been saying Tesla's overvalued since, like, literally what Tesla has done in the last day and a half. They used to say that was overvalued for the total market cap of Tesla. Like, literally, they've been saying this against Tesla. I wish, playing the I wish game, I wish I would have, put a order in to buy Vivint above the breakout channel of $10.35, like was in the scouting report this weekend. I wish I would have traded Vivint this week. I wish I could go back a day ago and traded Vivint, but it was one of the 28 stocks on the reports, and I chose to do others. I wish I could have done Vivint. Oh my God, it's up 40% today because it's getting bought out, and a lot of money was made by tackle trading because of it. I wish I was part of that, but I'm happy for tackle trading.
Matt, the point I was trying to make is don't get locked in not taking a trade today because you wish you took it then, because then 6 months from now, you're going to be saying, I wish again. Analyze the charts based on what you see now. Never let the I wish stop you from making a trade if you see a setup
decisions today. This is
100%.
not a complicated thing. You got to make decisions today. Vivint, if you guys are in that trade that was in the stock report, hey, guess what? Lock in profit.
Yeah, lock in profit
today.
It's not even a debate
from the trading gods.
No,
this is a buyout.
The trading gods. Lock in profit.
Yeah. You thank the gods. This was a buyout offer. By the way, Utah company, Lehigh, Utah, Matt, actually, Vivint Solar was founded in 2011. It's been a growth company. Our old buddy, Steve Andrus, actually knows the founder. They went to college together and they were roommates in college. He told me a bunch of stories about it. What
can Steve tell them to stop knocking on my damn door?
I think that's why after just 10 years,
they're getting bought out. Is because they're relentless.
Company. They are relentless. By the way, one of their head salesmen that does door-to-door knocking, we grew up with Kylie Powell, actually. You know the Powell family down there in Cleveland, Utah. Vivint selling for $3.2 billion. What an incredible story here, guys. A decade of growth, and they're selling their company for a huge sum. I got to applaud that to an entrepreneur, no doubt about it. And yes, if you did have that trade, knock those profits down and move on with your life. Last one on the broad markets, Matt, just quick peek of the dollar. There's nothing there. I don't want to analyze it today. Just going through my checklist as we go through the top-down approach to the market. Little inside candle off after the red candle. I'm still seeing about the same ranking that we were. Anything you want to add to that?
No, that's boring. That's a really boring chart right now.
Not a lot going on there.
Why do you think Cody felt the need to go to cross currencies?
Exactly.
That's right.
We should stop analyzing the dollar and just look at the euro pound cross.
The euro pound cross. Yeah.
Although that news out of Europe blew up that trade this morning. But if everyone moved their stops in different things, as I taught in the report, everyone should be at a profitable stance right now. But that trade was blown up by European news last night.
Yep. Let's talk stocks here today, guys.
We go to silver real quick though, because we're at resistance, and I know I and other people might have. Because, we sell calls at resistance, at least I do. We're pushing it up against resistance. What do you see here?
Speaking his book, he knows if it breaks 19, he's getting called out on his cover calls.
That's exactly what is going to happen if it breaks 19.
If it breaks 19, it's going to 20.
Let me guess, Mark. So you got covered calls and you've sold.
Yeah, I got a bunch of shares of
17
SLV.
Have you sold the 17?
That's 17.
Yeah, so the 17 in companies, the 19 breakout on SI. Do you want to get called out? I'll change my
listen, I want a massive silver position. Of course, I would like it cheaper than that, but I want some. Listen, I know what silver did in the years that followed the financial crisis of 08, 09.
8 to 48, baby.
Like, I mean, silver is like, it can have a massive run. And if it breaks through this multi-month resistance level, we know, I mean, hey, you know what a thing can do when momentum starts, right? It just has this resistance that it's fighting right now, this little resistance area.
Well, I looking at silver specifically, it's a shiny little metal. All of us absolutely love, no doubt about that. It's the middle child of the family in regards to gold. And I speak of me being the middle child in that analogy. That 19 breakout should absolutely be on everybody's radar, Mark. So thank you so much for bringing up silver. 19 is a significant breakout. And, breakout at 19, you're probably talking 20. Breaking at 20, you're talking end zone at that point. I do believe you're going to see that breakout, and I also believe you're going to get called out of your position.
I'm not going to get called out. I very rarely roll things up.
Well,
and I just did.
You just did.
Because when you don't want to lose
So literally
something,
this whole thing was about Mark just working
Yeah,
through
this
his
had
trade
nothing to do with
management.
it. Mark
Oh,
was
you-
trying to make a decision whether to roll a
but
contract.
that's what a team's
here's
about,
what-
right?
here's
That's
what's
why
just
you have a
happened.
community.
Here's what I don't get. Here's what I don't get. Mark, why wouldn't you just ask us if you should roll the contract?
So
You know?
Mark wanted a little pause so I didn't call on him so he could finish rolling. So he's
Yeah.
like, hey, bring up silver real quick. I got to roll
Yeah,
this
yeah,
call.
yeah, come on. It's fascinating. Mark, but you do bring up an excellent point. Silver had its 2-year stretch between late 08 and 2010 when it went from 8 to 48. And it was the great silver run of those 2 years. I mean, the best tradable instrument.
I mean,
It was acting
pull up.
Zoom,
It's worth
Spotify,
looking at.
Apple, all rolled into one. That was our precious little metal. And if you want to, and anybody that was trading back in the day,
A 15 monthly chart.
you know what I'm talking about with silver. Everybody was on that freight train of silver as it was going from 8 all the way to 48, as you can see it. And you know what, Mark? It was in that environment that you were seeing the exact same things back then that you were seeing here today.
Exact
Same things. Okay. Except one caveat. Okay. No, 2 caveats. The first one is you, at that moment in time, you didn't have countries around the world like Singapore putting in billions and billions of dollars into their technological infrastructure, of which platinum, palladium, and silver are needed. Okay, so that's number one. And number two, the backdrop back then was we were pumping in a couple $1 trillion of stimulus into the market, and we were going to go to zero interest rate policies. I was disgusted back then as a monetary hawk, but what they did back then in comparison to what they're doing right now, that was a walk in the park back then. The amount of monetary and fiscal stimulus that is coming into this market dwarfs what we did through 08 through all of 2013. And the only thing that stopped this freight train from going, on an Elon Musk SpaceX rocket to Mars was Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan getting on a flight in early August of 2011 to fly over there to Chicago from his plush offices in New York City and do a handshake, backroom, cigar-filled agreement with the head of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange to raise margin requirements on silver, copper, on gold, so that they would kick out speculators and smaller investors like myself and many people here so that they could corner the market. It was one of the most bullshit manipulations I've ever seen in the market. And that's the only thing that stopped that freight train. I believe we're going to see something very similar in the gold and the silver market. But again, you have a lot more ammunition this time. And the only thing that I'm nervous about with those projections, the only thing that gives me a little bit of pause with silver or with gold is that manipulation that the 1%ers do in the back smoke-filled rooms to stop people like you and me from going out there and doing the things we need to do. They have more ammunition. They do. And I'm not going conspiracy here. Jamie Dimon made that agreement with Chicago Mercantile Exchange to raise margin requirements, and that is the only thing that stopped this freight train. Can they do it again? Yes, they can do it again. But until that happens, I will not come off my projection on gold, but the breakout of 19 on silver should be traded by everybody.
That long-term chart even gets you more excited, quite frankly. The daily chart has a little noise on it if you look back left of the chart. But when you look at the big picture here, Matt, obviously there's clear air above these levels here, and it's going to be very exciting. Rolling up there, Mark, I think was probably the right idea. Capture still some credit, you got some cash flow opportunity, but you increase your upside potential. Loving this here, guys. Let's move into individual stocks if we can. Couple things, today I want to talk about. Number one, podcast dropped. I already mentioned it. TradingJustice.com, episode number 380. We did a review of the first half of the year, and I enjoyed the conversation quite a bit. If you're a podcast subscriber, you probably already grabbed it and we're listening to it in the car or whatever it might be. If not, just find TradingJustice.com. Make sure that you grab that podcast. They go out on Monday evenings after we record them on Mondays. So make sure that you are subscribed to the Trading Justice podcast. Matt, I enjoyed that chat. There's no doubt about it. We even got into a little politics at the end, which is always a little bit.
Yeah, disclaimer, if you don't like like hearing people randomly talk about politics, don't listen to the last hour of the Trading Justice podcast. We didn't go, we just gave our opinions on the election and what we're seeing in the data and so on and so forth. It's just three dudes talking about politics. And so if you enjoy political conversations as the Justice Boys do, then definitely check it out. We obviously didn't want to, we come from different backgrounds. We're, come from conservative backgrounds. Mark, you're probably a little bit further right than I am. Tim, you're further left than I am. I'm more of the moderate centrist from the political perspective. But, I respect Tim's opinion. I respect Mark's opinion. And, what I love about talking about politics with Mark and Tim is they come from different perspectives. They have different, analysis and opinions, and it helps shape mine. Mark sees it from one angle. Tim sees it from another angle. I'm not saying neither are right, neither are wrong, but having more political discourse in this environment with people you respect, and definitely people that, have a different opinion than yours is more needed, in my opinion. And so if you get offended by all things political talk, just don't listen to the last hour. But, I enjoyed the conversation.
I did too. And in my personal opinion, in 2020, one thing we absolutely need is civil discourse, even with people that you disagree with, and try to learn.
100%.
100%.
And we all make an agreement to stop getting offended at political beliefs that are different from yours. Can we all make that agreement? Just, and all I'm asking for is like a day. Just a day.
Give it a try. Give it a test.
I'll give you
a
like
24-hour time period. Just like
all
everybody
I'm
go on
gonna
political
commit to.
timeout and don't get offended for like 24 hours. Let's cancel the cancel culture for 24 hours. Let's give like real Americans a break on the cancel culture for 24 hours.
Oh, that should be a hashtag. Cancel culture. I do like that
I
concept.
got it if it already is.
I love it. All right, let's talk companies here today, guys. I'm going to start actually with some virus, type of news, positive news out of some companies, some quick ones here. Mark, I want to get your take on it. Novavax actually got a $1.6 billion contract, NVAX, from the U.S. government to get 100 million doses of the vaccine done by January 2020 or 21. The U.S. government has taken a very aggressive approach to vaccine production on this, Mark, and obviously the money behind it, no doubt about it. This is not the only company working on a vaccine, by the way. I think there are like 6 of them, but positive news in that regard. Novavax obviously up big on the news. One more, then I'll get Mark's take on both of them here, Matt. Regeneron, REGN, got a $450 million contract on their antibody cocktail that they are moving forward as well. And we're seeing stories like this. Now, the market tends to price them in individually. It doesn't necessarily just run for everything. And that's Replicon, Matt, or EGN. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Mark, do you think
I have dyslexia because I do that on Regeneron every single time. Like I just caught it, but I think I've done that like 10 consecutive times. So we talked about Regeneron.
It does make sense though, because I get it. I get why
come on, Regeneron, get your act together. Let's get the symbol fixed.
Yeah.
This is not a map problem. This is a Regeneron problem.
I still think one of the funniest ticker symbols in the history of the market.
I think that's cancel culture mentality. I got to stop.
Is that right? Apple Computer misspelling Apple, in my opinion, is still pretty silly to me. AAPL. It should have been APPL, obviously. But Marky, company news on these deals. Is it just interesting for the individual companies? Do you think the market cares about it at large? Obviously you got a huge pop in Novavax. I mean, 30 or 15% or something like that. Regeneron, not so much, but it is breaking out of the high. How do you approach news stories like this, Mark?
I don't approach them at all on the vaccine stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen you pull up Gilead. I mean, that was one of the first ones to start this whole party of a big news headline, popped on the news, and then it's drifted down ever since. Even Pfizer's drifting a few pennies this week, coming down off its news last week. You haven't seen like a lot of momentum stocks sustain follow through on these pops. Pull up Moderna, another famous one along this way. mRNA, pop on news, drift downward. So from a trading point of view, we haven't seen any in fact, the pattern you've seen is drift down, right? Big pop on news, drift down. That's the pattern we've seen over and over. So there hasn't been sustained follow through. So it's obviously not generating real excitement amongst investors. So one day somebody will come up with something that sticks. till then, we got a lot of evidence of pop and drop across the board.
Mm-hmm. Sell the news types of scenarios and many of these. I mean, this one here on Moderna, we talked about it when it happened. They actually issued more stock at that time. If you guys remember that part of the story, companies are doing the sell the news thing, even with their own stock. Matt, we're going to see more stories like this out of Novavax, more money behind vaccine production, things like that. It seems to not really be impacting the broad markets as of now. And I think the market's just kind of dismissing it.
Yeah, but I mean, how many times do we got to get the same news before we stop caring as much, right? I mean, a month and a half ago when you had Moderna come out with the positive news on the vaccine, I mean, we really, really, really wanted a vaccine really, really, really bad back then. And we still do. We still do. But how many headlines have we seen in the past 5-6 weeks? You know, antibody test out of XYZ company, you know, Regeneron antibody test, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. You know, with Novavax today, they have phase 3 clinical trials on a vaccine. You know, it's like I said yesterday, I fully believe we're going to get vaccine, and I fully believe there's going to be hurdles to overcome in between now and that moment. There's going to be pain that goes through between now and that moment, both personal and economic. And but I fully believe we're going to get a vaccine at some point in 2021. And
the problem is that news headlines are 24 hours. Scientific discovery is years. That's the problem. We keep hearing the news come out when there's actually nothing really changed from the scientific perspective.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, the vaccine popping things is over. I mean, look, you had two virus positive headlines today, and what are all the stocks that need people? You know, the movie theaters, the casinos, they're all getting beat up today. So that, I mean, one day something will stick, but it ain't today.
And maybe I'm the exact same as every other American. Maybe I'm completely different. I don't know. But I don't get, like, when I get up in the morning and I'm going through my routine and I'm drinking my cup of tea, and I'm, you know, because my wife had me switch from coffee to tea, and I'm starting to really enjoy it. Like a good husband, I'm starting to really enjoy my switch from coffee, black coffee I drank, to now this sweetened tea, watermelon flavored it is, Tim. I'm really enjoying it. It's delicious. But, you know, as I'm drinking my watermelon tea, I don't really get excited, upset. I have no emotional response to vaccine news.
Yeah.
Don't.
No.
Maybe as traders and analysts, we see too much of it every day, right? But Marquise, I actually really do enjoy the watermelon tea. It's like really, really, really good. But we just see it so much, and that's why it's like I keep saying, yeah, we see random news every day on, you know, antibody tests, clinical trials, phase 1, 2, and 3 trials, vaccine trials. Our medical professionals are going to get it right. I believe in them. I have faith and confidence in our medical professionals to get a vaccine out there at some point. And I believe that's going to be some point in 2021. And there's going to be a hard road to travel between now and then, but we're going to all travel it together.
Same on the negative side too, by the way. People are dismissing negative news and positive news, anything around COVID from a market perspective. Individual companies are getting reactions.
There's going to be, but again, there's going to be positive and negative news on your journey to a vaccine that cures an illness that is, you know, caused a massive pandemic. There's going to be hurdles to overcome, hills to climb. Let's climb them. Let's get through it. Let's bond together. That's what Americans do. In times of crisis, look at our history. In times of crisis, we put bullshit, petty differences aside and we come together. So let's just start doing that one at a time. Let's come together. Let's start rebuilding our country.
Yeah. And the government's definitely doing that right now. In this regard, they are putting money behind some of these companies. That $1.6 billion contract obviously helping Novavax. Next company I want to talk about here today is Energy Transfers, ET actually. They're the owner of the pipeline in the Dakotas, Matt, that actually got shut down today. This is a couple of days in a row. We've had pipeline news. I didn't expect that coming into the week, by the way. The court order, I think it was a district court out of Washington. They ordered that pipeline gets shut down for some time, for at least within 30 days, I believe, because of the environmental study impact that has not been completed yet. This is where those protests happened a couple years ago with native tribes in the region as well. I mean, in my opinion, I hear stories like this. It just gives me more caution and more pause around oil type companies, especially specialty type producers, pipelines, shale companies. I don't care. I've not seen great positive news out of this area in quite some time here, Marky. It's a pretty ugly chart, guys, you know, and down fairly healthy here. Mark, how are you approaching oil companies at all? Are you interested in some of these names coming down to lows and then picking them up? Or are you just looking for specific types of companies within the oil sector?
WMB is the only thing I currently have a naked put on. I do like the pipeline space. If the refiners charts weren't so hideous, I might be interested in them, but they're just really, really ugly. The plain and simple fact is, for individual oil companies, and I don't care if you're BP or Exxon or refiner or an Oxy or whoever it is you're going to have massive write-downs. I mean, you've already seen that out of Shell and BP, where they wrote down tens of billions of dollars of assets collectively. You're going to have that in American companies coming up. It is really, really, I mean, at the end of the day, right, I know nothing matters. Fundamental analysis doesn't matter anymore, right? Look at Tesla, look at Microsoft, look at Apple, whatever valuation metric you want. They're a little bit stretched, to say the least. But at the end of the day, making some money does matter, and oil companies are having a really, really hard time at that. They really need oil to get back there in the 50s to make some sustained money. The lower and the longer oil stays depressed, the bottom line balance sheet of these companies is going to come under real pressure. We've seen that in bankruptcies. You have a lot of smaller companies, a lot of the headlines like Chesapeake. That trend is going to continue. It is an ugly financial backdrop to energy companies right now as far as actually making money. They've been lifted because Jay Powell put trillions of dollars into the markets. But at the end of the day, fundamentals always matter. They just might not matter for a while, but fundamentals and price always come back aligned with one another. And for energy companies, that's might be at a lot lower levels because they're just not making any money. In fact, they're bleeding a lot of money right now. So can they stay afloat? A lot of them, sure. You know, I'm sure government will step in and help a little bit, but they're not making money right now. And until you see oil sustain itself over $50, that trend's probably going to continue.
One company that definitely is making money right now, and big news for this company here today, is Walmart, actually. And glad, Uday, you brought that one up. I wanted to make sure we brought this up. It actually hit the news wire in the middle of the day here, guys. They are coming out with their competitor to what they call Amazon Prime, right? They're going to call it Walmart Plus. It's going to be $98 a year. You get same day delivery on groceries, other perks, you know, a bunch of stuff that's going to be built into it. Obviously, Walmart and Amazon are competitors in that type of online purchasing space. Mark, I believe you buy your groceries from a Walmart online and then go pick them up by a delivery and whatnot. Interesting news. I mean, this is a huge move for Walmart, 6% on a news day like that. Obviously finding support, holding support, now back above moving averages. Matt, give me a breakdown on that chart if you can, and kind of do you think this can work for them going into competition with Amazon Prime with their new Walmart Plus type model?
Walmart's chart is a very choppy, very difficult chart to read, no doubt about that. Kiss off the 200-day moving average consolidation, pop. I can understand investors buying anything at a 200-day moving average is kind of par for the course. Walmart's news is interesting, though. And because when I saw the news come out across the wire today, I'm like, oh, Walmart's launching a customer loyalty program. Okay. How does Walmart not have a customer loyalty program already?
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally everybody has a customer loyalty program. So that was my first thought. My second thought was, well, what does this look like? Because everybody sees Amazon Prime a little bit different, right? What's Amazon Prime? $79 a year?
Something like that.
Something like
think.
that. It's like $79 a year. Walmart Plus, I believe, is going to be priced at about $98 a year. And what do you get with it?
Well, here's the big ones. You get same day delivery of groceries for free. Okay. You also get fuel discounts.
Fuel
so
discount.
You get the cheaper fuel.
Costco.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, kind of that kind of thing. So those are some of the big ones, I
So
believe.
it's more of and that's what I saw it as, you know, the news kind of wired it as a competitor to Amazon, but I'm really seeing this more as a competitor to something like a Costco.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and maybe like everybody sees Prime a little bit differently, but how do you see Prime? When you think of Amazon Prime, what's the first thing? Do you think about free 2-day shipping? Or do you think about, I want to log in and watch a show?
I think about media as well. I think both, obviously. I mean, you know that when you have the Amazon Prime, you've got video streaming, you've got all that kind of content online. Obviously, the free shipping.
Wait a second. Prime is $120 a year? Oh, wow. I never even knew that. My wife pays that stuff. I never even knew that. I thought it was like 79.
$10 a month, probably.
Now I'm out. Now I'm out. It's $40 edition. I'm out.
It's only $20 more. Walmart's 98.
My wife is still going to gladly pay that $120 a month. I can tell you that, or a year. She would pay it a month. I think she would pay it a month. I really do. But no, I don't see this as a competitor to Amazon. I really don't see it as a competitor there. Amazon Prime is so much more diverse than that. I see that as a standard customer service, loyalty, Costco, Target. Hell, I believe when I go shop at Harmon's, they always ask me if I have my customer loyalty number, and I always forget it. I don't see this. I mean, I respect a 6% move in Walmart. That's massive. But I don't know. I'd like to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I don't think
I know I'll sign up for it on day one, because I mean, I already shopped there. Free deliveries to my house, that would be wonderful. Little extra.
You should ask Mark, Jim, because I don't do same day delivery.
Like it will save me money, and it will probably make them money, right? Because I'll be more likely to spend money with them than I would maybe at the Harmon's on occasion or something else. Just into habit. So, but I agree with Matt. I don't know if it's a competitor to Amazon. I think it's its own standalone service that can help. I don't think one negates the other, right?
No.
So
I don't see people being like, Mark, I'm canceling my Amazon Prime so I can get Walmart.
No, that just doesn't seem like
right. And if you can't logically wrap your mind around that comment from a consumer, I'm going to cancel Amazon Prime to get Walmart Plus. It's not a competitor. It's not. It might be an add-on, but it's not a competitor. You know, people saying, I'm going to cancel, Amazon Prime so I can focus on, let's say, Hulu. That's a competitor. But when the decision making to the consumer comes to the point of like they don't even think about it, that's not a competitor. I know that's what the headlines read, Tim. Right? I get that. But I think that's lazy analysis. I see this as a standard customer loyalty program similar to Costco, far more than similar to Amazon. Amazon's far more diverse than that.
Really smart timing on the move, obviously, after people are getting used to doing the shopping this way.
On groceries in a pandemic?
Yeah.
Oh man, Walmart. I'm telling you, the new CEO of Walmart the last 6 years, he's got the Midas touch. He's amazing.
He does. He's great. He's done a really great job with their online models and their branding, their imaging, customer loyalty, all kinds of stuff.
Fun of anymore. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Walmart was a company everybody made fun of. Traders, investors. Even if you were an investor, you would make fun of Walmart and the people shopping at Walmart. It was the best people watching ever was Walmart. Airports people. That's where it starts and ends with. But the CEO made a transition about 6 years ago, and this is another long line of a great decision.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
No, it's a good
Amazon.
I mean, listen, Walmart was already a juggernaut, right? As far as stability, it's never going to be. I mean, Walmart is what it is. But there's upside to Walmart still, long term, right? Like, there's upside to Walmart. It's a great company. I love the decision. It makes me have faith in their management a lot more, that they're consistently trying to innovate and make their product and their service the best they can. Hey, and if you've never had groceries delivered to you, I'm telling you, it's fabulous. It is absolutely fabulous.
Walmart deliver groceries. My wife uses a lot of food delivery, other companies, like the Uber or whatever. I don't even know what they're called, but I might try it out. But again, the whole question was the competitor to Amazon. What's Amazon doing today? Nothing. Amazon doesn't care.
Amazon don't care.
Good news for Walmart, though. I love it. I love what you guys said as well. I mean, I think it's a really smart move, and just great leadership from that company.
Just listening to people that have, and this is important from a value perspective, Walmart being a value company. Listen to Sess in the chat, listening to Mark, users of Walmart. And it's not even a debate, Mark. Mark looked at it. He's like, yeah, I'm immediately going to add it because it's going to save me money. Sess, Absolutely. It's a no-brainer. I'm going to add it. That to me, I mean, that to me it tells me more about this product than even the market response does. People who use the product saying, I am immediately adding it, not even worrying about the cost because it's going to save me money over time. And it's going to allow me to be more efficient in my life, less worry, less stress. It's a great decision by Walmart.
Yeah, long after COVID's left the face of the earth, I'll become a germaphobe long after COVID's, you know, all you disease carrying, flu carrying, cold carrying. Yeah, I'd never want to go into a grocery store again, you know.
Now, if they did like Blake suggested and named it Autobot,
I'm in too.
I don't even know what
That's
it means.
an awesome
I'm just
name.
Autobot is a very
that
cool
tells you
name.
how important marketing and branding is. I don't even know what I'm in.
Autobots roll out. Let's do it. There's no doubt about it. All right. Next blue chip company in the news here today, grabbed my attention was Disney. I've never seen the play Hamilton, but they got the exclusive rights for it. I can't remember how much they paid. It was like some ungodly amount of money about a year ago or so. They finally did release it on their Disney Plus platform. And Matt, huge download increase over the weekend. Obviously, this is a big title, a big name, branding, and all that kind of stuff. Disney does make moves like this over the years. The stock's not reacting at all to it, which I guess that's where it is. What's going on with Disney here, Marky? I mean, good news doesn't seem to drive it up. People are still very hesitant. What's your read here on Disney?
Disney, I mean, come on, it's COVID-19, right? It's fears of people going. I mean, Disney, not only their theme parks, but their cruise ships, their stores, their theatrical releases. I mean, they are so
their cable TV, high priced. Everything at
Disney should be happy as it can be that it is holding the level it is. MGM not looking like this, Carnival not looking like this, a lot of companies not looking like this. Now it's holding because nobody ever fears that Disney's going to go bankrupt, right? That's why it has some intrinsic value that you can't necessarily say about a Carnival Cruise Lines or an American Cruise Lines or an AMC Entertainment or any of these. We all know it's not going to go bankrupt, right? You know, even if the pandemic lasted a lot longer. So it has some
Stop it.
The Autobot?
Stop it.
Is that an Autobot?
Is that what's going to hit?
That
is the robot dog that's going to kill society, by the way.
I mean, fantastic. Is that an Autobot? Mark, you haven't watched Transformers, bro?
Autobots Transformers.
Oh, no, I haven't watched Transformers.
Okay, I was like, wow, is that an Autobot? I'm just going to
listen. Listen, if that delivers me my groceries, I'm double in. I'll buy 2 memberships.
I'll tell you who would not be in is your brother Tim. He would run and leave the groceries on the street.
You can't run from those things, Matt. Haven't you seen the episode? You can't hide. You can't run. They will kill us all. Move past the robot overlords that are going to destroy us. Thank you very much. That was causing me anxiety. Marky.
Don't blame me on that one. Blame Steven. He brought it up.
You know, Steven, I appreciate the good ribbing. There's no doubt about it. You did bring that up, but that's okay. At least it's not like Coach Emily, who's actually bought me a toy robot and sent it to me. So
yeah, the only way Marty the elephant is not going to be the mascot of Tackle Trading is if the robotic dog becomes the mascot of Tackle Trading. You choose, bro.
I'd sign up with that. I like it. But, you know, but as far as Disney goes, right, so we know it's not going to go bankrupt. You can't say that about a lot of the other distressed companies because if the pandemic gets worse, if we have a real second wave, you're going to see a lot of casualties because we're not having a second wave right now. But if you had one, there's just a lot of companies that don't have the balance sheet that can sustain it. I mean, that's going to be key this earnings season for those companies. It doesn't matter what they made or didn't make for those type of companies. How much liquidity do they have? How much cash do they have? How far does that stretch in the future? It's not an issue with Disney, but it's still hard to get excited about Disney, right, at these price levels because Disney Plus has a lot of competition. All of their assets are under some form of distress as far as making money. So there's no enthusiasm about Disney.
But you guys are missing out on the number one indicator for Disney and when you invest in Disney.
When Mulan comes out?
When my wife goes back to a Disneyland. That is the number one indicator.
But there's absolute
this year. I'm telling you, my wife would risk anything to go to Disneyland. And
you
she
know.
is not going right now because of the fear of the pandemic. And so when my wife, I believe Disney is going to be an amazing, amazing buy at some point. I do. That point is not now. That point is when my wife goes back to Disneyland. We will increase revenue together. So to me, Disney's a wait and see, but it is not one of those companies where I fear Disney going away. Disney's not going away in
No,
any
I mean there are two companies in the distressed category, other than the banks and the big insurance companies at lower level, but they're their own thing. But there's two in the distressed category that aren't going out of business, are always going to have money, and that's Boeing and Disney. And so it's just a matter of how you want to play them, how you want to approach them. I mean, they both have huge concerns about profitability. Both are adding massive amounts of debt this year. So their balance sheet at the end of this is going to look a lot worse than it was at the start. But both right now, the market's reflecting that, where MGM and CL and a lot of these other companies, the refiners, all of that, Boeing and Disney are doing their best to hold up top on some of thing, and that's because they're not going out of business. It's just a matter of how you want to play them, and that's trickier than it might think, right? But Disney and Boeing, I mean, two companies I have a lot of interest in if you ever had a real market correction.
Well, how about this way to play them, Mark? Equity, long-term put options to collar it and then sell cover calls against it, pick up 1% a month.
Not yet.
I don't think yet. I don't think yet, but I'm in the camp of all this market price action's crazy, and you're going to have at a minimum a retest of that support zone again.
Well, Mark,
that we tested last week.
Yeah, Tim, I get it. And again, anytime option traders start going, especially when they're analyzing and they start going advanced option techniques, I check out completely because it's like, yeah, you sound smart. You sound like you know what you're talking about, but good luck managing that.
I mean, even like Disney, I got to pay $9.40 right now on a leap option expiring in 190 days on a put side. I guess I could make that work, but
I mean, that's not
terrible. But it's like, but where's the catalyst to send it upward? I mean, things need catalyst. Reopening thing provided a huge catalyst, right? Everything went crazy. We're reopening. Boeing, Cheesecake Factory, American Airlines, everything went crazy that 10-day stretch. Where's the catalyst? Like, you got to have a catalyst before you get on board with that at a minimum.
Well, and quite frankly, Mark, I think we need to start seeing that in the data. Right. We need to start seeing that in the technical trends. We need to start seeing that in the economic data. A lot of the reopening theme, whether you believed in or not, was based on some really positive economic reports that was coming out of China, the Eurozone, as well as the US. And, we've in the last week and a half, as more countries, I mean, it was Melbourne today. There was news coming out that Melbourne is going to have a stay-at-home order for the next 6 weeks. You're seeing, increasing cases of corporations, municipalities, shutting down locations in the U.S. And so, I mean, there's data there that does not support the economy reopening up theme right now. The data right now supports a U-shaped economic recovery, which takes years to really kind of recover. So, to me, I love the analysis on Boeing. I love the analysis on Disney. I think both of them are an excellent buy at some point. I'm just not there yet. I'm just not. Disney's got a road to travel here. They're a very expensive consumer discretionary entertainment company. They're a company that we don't need to live, and they're a premium product. Disney Plus was supposed to be their effort to get into that cheaper subscription. It's been a colossal failure, in my opinion, so far. And, we talked about Disney Plus for years about it being a competitor to Netflix and AT&T through HBO and, Amazon with the Amazon Prime. It just hasn't proven that out yet. It's a rudimentary product that needs to be filtered out right now. And they're just not there yet, Tim. The whole reason we're bringing up Amazon and Disney and everything is because you brought up Hamilton. Hamilton, and I'm not sure I'm accurate on this because I'm not a big play goer, but I do believe it's one of the most profitable places ever existed in human history. It's like
I'm sure it is. They sold them for like $1,000 tickets for a lot of years, Matt. Yeah,
I think it's like $1.9 billion type profitable.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're not talking a small sum here. And Hamilton, first day it comes out, what does my daughter do? Watch Hamilton. What does my wife do? Watch Hamilton. But that's one off. See, the reality is what works with Netflix, the entire business model is when you're done with the show, you go watch another show. That's why it works on Netflix. It's that binge watching that Netflix has made so vastly popular in America, especially during the pandemic. But when you're talking about Disney, after The Mandalorian,
I haven't been back on Disney Plus since the
we've all seen the Avengers. How many times do you need to watch the Avengers? The last movie in the Avengers isn't even good.
If you
It's
ask,
not even popcorn
first of all,
ready.
I agree, but do not say that around my kids. That will trigger them into a huge fight.
Listen, I'm sorry Tony Stark dies, but he kind of should have died a long time ago.
Maybe spoiler alert on that. I'm not sure.
I'm with Matt. That
I'd be pissed right now if someone had not already spoiled that for me a month ago. I would now be upset.
You can't be upset. No. You lose all right to be upset if you haven't watched a show like the Avengers finale after 2 years.
Yeah, it's all over.
I still haven't.
What? Hey, Mark, guess who Luke's father is?
Yeah, well, listen.
Oh my God.
Here, let me spoil Game of Thrones for you. It ends terribly.
Well, it does that for sure. One last company I do want to talk about here today, and then that's all I got. Sirius Satellite, Matt, just real quick one. More podcast news, actually. Sirius Satellite Radio has made their name, obviously, through just on over the satellite type of radio programming, Howard Stern, comedy, different stations. There's a lot of great tunes, a lot of great stations. They just bought Stitcher, Matt, which actually is a medium that we put out the Trading Justice podcast app on for $300 million, I believe. More of these radio companies, more of these media companies that are going into the podcasting game. They want to corner that part of the market, and it's not going away. There's no question about it. Podcasts are a part of the lexicon. When we start
podcasts are growth. Look what Spotify's doing with podcasts. That should tell you everything you want to know about podcasts. Now look what Siri's doing with Stitcher. I forget who's selling them Stitcher, but they bought it for $4.5 million in 2015. Now they're selling it for $300 million. That's growth.
It was the company's SSP. Obviously, they must do something outside of Stitcher. SSP is the symbol that is selling it. I don't know who they are, but Sirius is buying them. I didn't know that.
Sunrun's. Oh no, that's acquiring Vivint. Where's the Siri? EW Scripts, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, EW Scripts. What's their symbol, T?
SSP.
SSP. I have zero interest in any.
No interest. But congrats, by the way, on making a $4 million purchase. You just flipped into $300 million in profit. Man, what a deal!
Their stock price should be higher. They must be really bad at other areas of their business.
Yeah, I love it.
Dude, Siri is so boring to trade.
Siri,
has Siri ever not been at like 4 to 5?
It's just they need to do a reverse split. 10 to 1, make it a $58 stock, so it's at least interesting to trade.
Shut up, Siri.
That's right. That's right. Guys, that's what I've got from a stock perspective here today. Let's move into our last section, our Coach's Corner, where we get final thoughts from everybody around the wheel.
Do you guys ever be abusive to Siri?
The Siri on my phone?
Who's the only Siri? Yeah.
Well, we're talking Sirius Satellite Radio, obviously, but no, I don't mess with her. I mean, you don't want to mess with robots or artificial.
I've had conversations.
Do not. Well, that's fine. Have a great conversation. There's no doubt about it. But do not mess with artificial intelligence. That'll come back to bite humanity in the ass, in my personal opinion. Why do you guys not have a reasonable fear of these things?
You're the one that had Amazon in their house.
I did. I unplugged that.
You think me and Mark have listening devices in our house?
Dude, your phone is right now listening.
You're speaking your book there, buddy.
Oh, your iPhone is listening right now. I would guarantee it. They are capturing your audio and doing something with it. I believe those things are true. So no, I don't mess with Siri. I treat Siri with respect. Yeah.
I don't really have anything.
Listen, I'm out. When Tim starts going, I have ultimate respect for Siri, like it's an actual person.
I like making fun of Tim. Everyone knows that.
Taking hold in America is when we treat,
Have you not seen Minority Report?
Like, don't be offended. Don't be offensive to Siri. She's so sweet. She talks to you so nice and kind.
I've watched too many post-apocalyptic movies and
Dude,
TV shows.
I don't
in
worry
my
about
life.
robots because the federal and central bank is going to destroy society long before we have to worry about that. So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with robots destroying the world, I've seen Terminator. I mean, isn't the world supposed to end like 12 years anyways, according to AOC? So, let's just enjoy the moment.
Sure. Might as well go out on a high note, I guess. Companies, guys, you already hit so many of them. I mean, I'm just watching this gold breakout, watching for that silver play. You mentioned podcasts and Spotify, actually, Matt, from the weekend report. If there was one I want to throw in there that just grabbed my attention from the report, is still Spotify. I still think it's got a beautiful setup, and I'm going to be paying attention to that if it can break above those highs this week. Matt, what about you? What are your final thoughts? What's on your mind here as we wrap up our show?
Oh, it's boring Tuesday where not a lot of things are happening, and I'm not going to feel the need to sit and stare at the chart for the next few hours. So I'm going to go do something to enjoy my life.
I love it. Well, by the way, that should be trading most days, right? I mean, be able to get in there, work the markets, get out of there, and move on with your life. Marky, final thought from you?
my final thought has to do with Nikola, NKLA ticker symbol. Listen, this is one of the great things that trading versus investing is all about. Things can get high flying and that momentum can go, and we should trade it nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. But there's a lot of companies out there that are stretched. There's a lot of situations that aren't looking good, and momentum can turn as quickly as it profits you. Trade the market, trade the market, trade the market. On your investing, be a little cautious. That's my final thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe this should be a reminder, a lesson to a certain extent to the CEO of Nikola. Maybe you shouldn't brag about your market cap being higher than Ford. The market will punish vanity.
That's right. That's right. What price would either of you get interested in this stock, though?
I'm not
20?
interested in Nikola in any capacity at any level at this point.
Mhm.
At this point. Now, maybe that analysis changes, right? Maybe
3
it
months,
does.
6 months down the road, whatever.
But
Yeah.
just because some company, some root beer company put a CBD in their company tagline back in 2017 doesn't mean it's a marijuana company. Nikola, just because you have Nikola Tesla in your name of your company doesn't mean you're the next Tesla. Let's wait to see some data on this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Last thing here, guys. One more day on our sale. Matt, bring up the store if you can. Just want to make sure everybody's aware of this out there. If you're a current pro member of Tackle Trading, we appreciate you as always. If you ever need anything, you let us know. Team@tackletrading.com. If you're currently paying for a monthly subscription, you can get the annual right now through tomorrow. This sale does end at the end of business, or not end of business, end of day actually on Wednesday. So by Thursday, it's going to be down off the site. We've got annual at a 23% discount, and all of our premium systems are 50% off. And so if you are looking to get one of those system courses, like the bundle through the STEP system with the annual pro, that deal is still probably the best one right there on the site, in my personal opinion. Tackle 25 is still there, the cash flow condors, bear market survival guide. And if you're just a pro member and you've already gone through all the systems, do not sleep on that annual pro pricing at $895. You get about a 23% discount over your monthly. And I know for me, when I'm a consumer, Matt, one thing I instantly do, if I know I'm going to use a product, I always look for the annual pricing discount. If it's there for me personally, it allows me to save a little bit of money on something I'm already loving and going to use anyway. Guys, that's all I've got.
I'm very upset with Blake right now. I'm very upset. Blake, I'm never going to not hear that ever.
Nikola.
Ever. It's just going to happen. It's going to be standard. I'm going to have to listen to Tim talk about pronounce Nikola like that for the rest of my life. Thank you, Blake. I appreciate that.
Dude, I remember those commercials for sure. Oh man, Mark, that would be a fun game on the podcast. You could play commercials and we'd guess the most iconic commercials of all time. I think that Ricola one is definitely up
That
there.
is actually an excellent idea.
Yeah,
I'll make that happen.
See what companies had great branding over time and did a great job with their marketing and whatnot. Coca-Cola has to have a couple of them up there. Pepsi, the Budweiser dogs back in the day. I mean, Geico, I think, had some great ones as well.
But Geico's had some amazing commercials.
Incredible marketing, no doubt about it. Matt, anything you want to say about this last couple of days on this sale and this special?
No, if you're looking for a quality financial education, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to find a better value than tackle trading. It's just not going to happen. It will never exist. It just won't.
Yep. Great job today, guys. We will be back tomorrow. Tonight, we've got the coaches show. If you're a pro member, make sure you show up and pay attention to that at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can find all of our events on the events page. We'll be back with the halftime report tomorrow, same time, same station. Until then, make sure you click the subscribe, click the bell so you get the alerts when we do go live. We're out for today. See you tomorrow, guys.